Hello everyone and welcome back. It's October. We're having fun. We're doing seances and summoning Satan and carving pumpkins and shoving them up our butts.
She's doing that.
I'm not. So you guys absolutely loved the video that I literally just...
Carry on.
that I just posted a couple days ago. It's the most haunted cemeteries in Illinois. And y'all love that so much that we are doing kind of a part 2. But this time, it's not cemeteries in Illinois, it's places in Illinois. So, we got 5...
Sorry, I wasn't trying to disturb you.
We got 5 super haunted places in Illinois to talk about, and I hope you love them, and I hope you love this video as mochi. I'm going home. But anyway, we got some haunted places to tell you guys about, and if you've ever been to any of these, let me know. If you want to hear us talk about anything else, hell, we could start a literal series like most haunted places in every state. We could start doing that. If y'all want that, let me know, because we could do endless crap about that.
We could take a road trip to these places.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll just be the cameraman or something. Don't make this about me. They'll just watch. Okay. Okay. Why do I do that every time? Okay.
You sounded less Italian this time though. You were like, okay.
Okay. Okay, the first one is the Joliet Prison.
Is it Joliet or Joliet?
I say Joliet.
I say Joliet.
I guess you're getting both sides then.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
In May of 1858, the Joliet Prison began operating. It was built to replace the first state penitentiary in Alton. There were high hopes for this prison, but just 20 years after it was built, the image drastically changed. In 1878, the prison held over 2,000 inmates, which was well over capacity. Reports of unsanitary and dangerous conditions began to spread around. By 1910, there was still no running water or toilets in the cells.
That's disgusting.
It is.
Like, what did they do before? Like, before they had...
I wonder if it was like... Because I don't know when...
I've never been to jail.
I don't know when indoor plumbing became, like, the norm. Because for a while, like, everybody had outhouses and then only, like, fancy people had indoor plumbing.
I'm gonna Google that while you keep going.
So did they just not, like, give them indoor plumbing and they did outhouses, but then they would lock them in a cell with no bathroom?
Yeah.
These conditions caused infectious and viral diseases to rapidly spread, and the prison was deemed unfit to hold prisoners. In 1917, construction on the Stateville Correctional Center began and opened in March of 1925. This was supposed to be the end of the Joliet Prison, but it wasn't. The prison continued to operate alongside the new one for the rest of the 1900s. The prison has held some of Chicago's most famous criminals, which adds to its dark history. Serial killer John Wayne Gacy was once an inmate here, along with Babyface Nelson, a notorious bank robber who was there for a short period before he escaped during a transfer. The prison was also home to Confederate soldiers during the Civil War. Many were executed by electric chair and hanging in the building.
Cells were only used for sleeping and had no running water. Indoor plumbing was rare. In lieu of a toilet, metal buckets inside the cells served as the receptacles for bodily functions. These buckets were dumped once a day.
Gross. I'd be holding it till I went outside.
Ew.
The ghost stories start back in 1932 while the prison was still operating. Prisoners began to hear singing from the convict cemetery nearby. The disembodied singing started to get the attention of the media. People said it resembled church hymns spoken in a foreign language. It is said there are some lingering angry spirits that roam the prison. People claim to have the feeling that they are being watched and having chills. Some even say they can feel the negative emotions of angry prisoners who died an unfair death. The prison is made out of limestone.
And one thing about limestone is that it is said that limestone it can hold so much spiritual energy. Like, here in Illinois, so many old buildings were like there were a lot of limestone mines around here. Like there's a school away from us that's called Limestone. Starved Rock State Park, it's all carved out of limestone. Like there's so much limestone in the state that they made a lot of buildings out of it. And that is a very big conductor of paranormal energy, geomagnetic energy. Things that spirits are said to be able to manifest on. So the fact that the prison was made out of limestone and there were such negative emotions in that prison, you know, people were being hanged, executed, the Confederate soldiers were there were serial killers there was even a murder in the jail at one point. So there's so much negative energy trapped in those walls. I want to go. I've never been, but I want to go. They do like flashlight tours and stuff. I think that would be really cool to do.
I'll go. Sign me up.
The next one is called the Devil's Bake Oven. It's not an actual oven. Just letting you know.
It's an easy bake oven.
Dude, I got one of those when I was little and I used it once and I was not allowed to use it again.
I used mine a lot and then I ran out of the stuff to like make easy bake stuff and I just started putting like marshmallows and stuff in it.
But you're not supposed to do that.
Don't know.
Sitting along the Mississippi River in the small town of Grand Tower is the Devil's Bake Oven. This is where one of Southern Illinois' most famous and oldest legends lie. In 1673, when Joliet and Marquette traveled down the Mississippi River, they wrote in their journals about a large rock that today is known as Tower Rock. In 1678, French settlers erected a large wooden cross on the rock's crest, and they called it Le Cap de Croix, which is French for the Rock of the Cross. Around this time period of river travel, many people were killed in the rapids at the base of the rock. The Native Americans believed that evil spirits were lurking there, taking the lives of unsuspecting people. Later on, white settlers would acknowledge these legends and name the rocks after it. Devil's Bake Oven is a large rock that stands on the edge of the river and rises to heights of nearly 100 feet. Fast forward to the late 1800s when the expansion of the iron industry brought the ghost story around. The story goes to say there was a young girl named Esmeralda. She was the daughter of a superintendent. It was said she was very beautiful but lived a very sheltered life and was extremely naive. Her father kept away all the men from the foundry until one day Esmeralda fell in love with one of the men who came to court her. He was so handsome, but her father strongly disapproved. He forbid her to see or marry him. She would sneak out to meet him until her father found out and confined her to the house. He convinced the young man to move on from Grand Tower, and Esmeralda cried for weeks. A short time later, it is said that she either by some illness or grief died. Another story goes that she was so heartbroken she flung herself into the river, never to be seen again. Regardless of how she died, her ghost still lives on. It is said the spirit of a young girl is seen around the house. Visitors report seeing a strange mist-like shape resembling the girl, walking along the pathway and vanishing among the rocks near the old house. They can also hear the sounds of crying and moaning late at night. Spooky. Sometimes it really trips me up that a lot of places here in Illinois are named after Native Americans. So when it said Joliet and Marquette,
I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, that those were Native Americans. I'm not used to that. Like Peoria, named after a Native American. Ottawa, Native American. So weird. Marquette Heights. And the fact that this dates back to like 1673 is insane. I think it'd be cool to go there. See what's up. See the Devil's Bake
What's
Oven.
up?
I'm wondering if the rock is limestone.
Pulaski County Courthouse is the next one. In 1911, this courthouse was built, and in the basement was the county jail until it was remodeled in 2004. The building is said to be haunted by at least 4 ghosts. One early paranormal spotting was students seeing the spirit of a man dangling from a tree on the courthouse lawn. He is said to be the ghost of the very last man hanged in the county. The apparition of him is said to be seen in the basement where he was held before his execution. Another ghost residing there is one of a former attorney that brings the smell of cigar smoke. That'd be so weird to smell a ghost.
Yeah. I still don't know how they do that.
I don't either. There's a female spirit there that has gotten the nickname the Taffeta Woman, who died in an accident. The last is an elderly black woman whose children were supposedly having her declared incompetent to get her money. Huh.
Rough. So I wanted to explain what a taffeta is for some people who don't know. It's a crisp, plain woven fabric made most often from silk, but it can also be woven with polyester, nylon, acetate, or other synthetic fibers.
It was also popular in the 80s.
Yeah, so I figured that a lot of people who are watching this today might not know. So that's creepy. I would love to go there and see what the heck's going on. And was it like common back then for courthouses to just have the jail in the basement?
It would make sense because then you wouldn't have to like transfer them.
And especially in a small town.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have to take them from the jail to the courthouse. You just walk them upstairs. Unless you build the courthouse in the basement of the county jail.
The next one is the Rose Hotel. In Elizabethtown, there is a hotel that is currently operating as a bed and breakfast. It is owned by the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency. This building was built around 1820 and is the oldest active hotel in the state of Illinois. Sarah Rose, the former owner of the hotel, is said to haunt the property. Guests can see an apparition that looks like Sarah roaming around the hallways on the second floor. She also likes to linger on the staircase. During the night, she enjoys moving items around. Some report hearing a disembodied female voice, and many believe she isn't evil. She is only keeping an eye on her beloved hotel.
What is it with ghosts and staircases?
I don't know. Do they just like the steps? Maybe it's because they don't have to take the steps anymore. They can just like float up them. And maybe they're like, wee.
But maybe it looks more creepy as they descend up the stairs. I don't know.
I don't know.
But ghosts and staircases are like a common...
Especially at the Stanley Hotel. Like, I just watched a video on the Stanley Hotel a couple days ago and like the ghosts on the staircases and stuff.
I don't know what I want.
Now I'm bringing out my handy dandy laptop because I got another story for you. Oh my god.
I think there's something wrong with me. Kit Kat. Not a sponsor. Wish it was.
This is a place that's relatively close to us. Jordan is the one that ended up telling me about it. And so I started looking stuff up and I was just going to make a whole video about it, but I obviously didn't. And then it reminded me was like, I'll just add it into this video because it's literally just been sitting in,
Boo!
It's just been sitting on my computer for months now and I haven't found anywhere to fit it in, so we're gonna fit it in now. It's the Streator Death House. Streator is like an hour away, so when we went to the Moon Point Cemetery, we actually drove by this house because it has such an odd history, but at the same time, like, you don't know much about the history. So the residence dates back to the 1800s. The exact date is unclear. One of the first families to live in the home was the Oliver family in the early 1900s. Okay. Sounds normal, doesn't it? The guy was Hosea and his wife, and Mrs. Oliver was described as a generally healthy woman. A newspaper article about her said she was a very large, fleshy woman and apparently in good health. In 1902, she was riding her bike with a friend and mysteriously died the next night inside the house. Her death was described as in an instant, and she passed to the other side. And then in 1904, the house became a boarding house. I'm guessing the guy moved out. The landlord was a widow, and I thought that they meant it was Mr. Oliver, but I researched further and found that it was not him. He moved out, and I guess he just wanted nothing to do with the house anymore. I'm not sure why. You know, after your loved one dies, I don't really think a lot of people wouldn't want to like just pack up and move. I don't. So like I feel like there was something going on in the house that he just never wanted to share. So I don't know. And the fact that she was healthy and she was last seen riding her bike. Really confusing. This landlord had up to 10 tenants at a time and charged $5 each per week, which was, you know,
That'd be great.
today that would be great. The landlord married one of the boarders, but she divorced him soon after. In the 1940s, the house was put up for sale at $4,500.
That'd be great too.
The house was extremely neglected at that point and needed a lot of work. And by then, like, the reputation about the house had gotten people being like, I don't want that. A new owner bought it, and the house was rented out to 2 brothers, and their neighbors called them the hooligan? The neighbors called them the hooligan sons. They were always in trouble with the law, theft, underage drinking, disorderly conduct, vehicular violations like drunk driving and driving without a license. In 1976, one of the brothers, Dale, was found dead in his bed by his dad. Dale was 25, and the death was listed due to natural causes, but people say it was actually from massive necrosis of the liver due to alcoholism.
At 25?
Yeah, at 25. Like, that didn't add up. But that's just what people said, and then other people were like, natural causes. But that's 2 people who have died in the house under very mysterious circumstances.
For no damn reason.
And they were both, like, one was 25 years old. That's how old we are. And the other son continued on with his ways in the house. And the home stayed with the same family until 2010, but at some point the brother moved out. I don't know when. And in 2021, it was listed for sale for $13,000. And as of March 27th, 2023, it was taken off the market and it sits empty because nobody would buy it. We went in August, I believe. Actually drove by this house and it looked like somebody was renovating it. I don't know if anyone bought it, but they took it off the market and it definitely, somebody was like adding a front porch onto it. It had a creep factor. What is in that house to make 2 people just mysteriously die? It's almost like it's cursed with some kind of energy. Like no one wants the house. And
spooky.
That was some of the most haunted places in Illinois. If you liked this, let us know by liking and commenting. And if you want to see more, subscribe. I'd like that. I'd appreciate it. We're at like 1.27K as of today, so we're actually gaining pretty fast. And I just want to thank you all for listening to the nonsense that goes on in here. If you guys want to comment another state for us to do, or if you have anything specific that you want us to do, we could do a part 2 in Illinois if y'all want, because Illinois is messed up.
I think of some states that probably have some pretty good places.
And we will see you next time for another spooky video. That's a knee slapper. I slapped my knee.
I will smack you.
And on that note, before someone gets hurt, I'm going to turn the camera off.
Bye. I'll get you.